Hey, Ghost Machine fans, this one's for you.
Welcome to the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast, episode 70. What's next for Sophie and Violet in the treacherous world of Maytal Zahoot and Layla Lisa's Sisterhood, a Hyde Street Story, number 2. But before we deep dive into another Ghost Machine Horrorverse title, we have a very special guest co-host joining us today. For a while now, we have been wanting to gain a retailer's perspective on the show. This episode will be our first. I am Snoggle, and I'm joined as always by my partner in crime, Nick. Nick, can you tell us about our retailer guest?
I can. I'm super excited to do that. And so I want to point out that it's a pleasure to say that I'm very much in the minority today. I've got my better half, Snoggle. I've got Maytal Zahoot, an amazing female comic book writer. I've got Layla Lees, an incredible female comic book artist. And I've got Kelly Anderson Hayne, an incredible female comic book business owner who's on the show with me today. And I'm the only guy within 100 yards. So I'm just very, very happy because that's not always the case necessarily in this, comic book podcasting medium. And so I would happily like to introduce Kelly of Buy Me Toys and Comics, also of the admin group from the Ghost Machine Comics Facebook fan group. So Kelly, how are you tonight? Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. It's been a great time tonight to already talk to you guys. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Very excited. We really always want to kind of know what happens behind the retailer curtain, but then we know that you do just so much for us that we don't know if it's a good idea to ask. So, you've been so involved with Ghost Machine and you've been in the Facebook group. How long have we been doing the Facebook group now together in the admin thing?
Oh my gosh. Are we going on 2 years now?
I think it's 2 years, around the time Ghost Machine #1 came out. The preview book.
Right.
Is that January?
That is. I think it is January. So my gosh, time just flies. I mean, we have so much fun with the group. It's hard to put a time frame, I guess, on it. I mean, everybody's so great in the group. Very excited to always want to talk and share, and that's wonderful about the whole Ghost Machine in general. So that's the one thing I can say is, even in the store, anybody who comes in and looking for Ghost Machine comics in general, they always are excited. They're there Wednesday. They want the new book. They want to talk about it. They come back next week and they want to talk about what's happening. We have to stay up on top of it too, because if not, they're going to spoil it for us.
Yeah.
Right. So you're talking about folks coming into your store, which is Buy Me Toys and Comics in Mishawaka, Indiana. Is that right?
You got that right. So
okay. So tell us all about the store. Tell us about your store. How long have you been in business?
Far away. So November will be. We wanted to stop telling people after 25 years how long we've been doing this. But November will be 29 years. So that's how long we've had the storefront. Casey, my husband, had his business license for 5 years before that, doing mall shows and mail order. And then at one point in time, I said, "This has got to get out of your apartment. It's time to do a store." And I kind of pushed for that. And here we are, 29 years later. Wow. So it's been great. Our kids have grown up knowing only the store. They're a big part of the store. They read. They know the store. They help customers. Our customers have watched them grow up. It's become just a family environment in general. They want to know what's going on in our family's lives. We want to know what's going on in their family's lives. So when I truly say that it's a family-friendly store, it really is. been doing this so long that we've seen some of those kids grow up, and now they have kids of their own, bringing them in. And I don't want to say how old we are because, but yeah, it's really been great. I thought 30 years ago I'd be doing this. Honestly, I went to school for chemistry, so this is not what I went to school for. But my husband Casey has been in the art scene for a long, long time, so he's always wanted to do something with comic books.
Cool. Well, heck, that's a very long time for any business of any size to be successful. So way to go. That's amazing.
Thanks. It's been I some days I feel like, gosh, have we really been doing it this long? And then other days there are long days, and it feels like all of 29 years.
Since you guys have been open for so long, obviously you have a lot of connections in the industry. It seems like a lot of different creators know you guys or are connected to you guys one way or another. You know, I've seen it at conventions, and obviously I've seen a lot of cool stuff actually happens at your store. And like there's been multiple Ghost Machine events at your store, right?
We have been very, very lucky. So one of the really cool things that we have had long before Ghost Machine was in inception, maybe Jeff has had it in his mind at that point in time, who knows? Back in 2005, actually, we had Jeff in for a signing in our store. So that was pretty amazing. And if he's listening, we're still holding you too, needing another signing. Eventually, though, we'll get him back in. You know, it's so awesome. We were able to do a Zoom party for our customers early on when the first 3 books launched. After, trying to think, it was, I don't think issue 2 of Redcoat had come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just the first 2 of Geiger and Rook. No, it was first 2 of Geiger and Redcoat, and Rook number 2 had not come out yet. And we were fortunate enough to have a Zoom party for our customers. We rented out an event center in our complex, had our life-size stand-ups of Geiger with Barney, Redcoat, Barney Pure, and Rook and Direwolf in the Zoom party. Decorated it and decked it out and had the bunch of different TVs going, and our customers got to come in and ask questions and listen to the creators. We had Jeff, we had Gary Frank, Jason Pavick, and Brian Hitch unfortunately was not able to make it. He was stuck in the subway. So the 3 of them were so gracious to our customers. They answered everything. So awesome, you know, for everybody. And some of them were not even questions about Ghost Machine in general. They were just about art or stories and how to get into the business a little bit. But it was just amazing. And they gave us a little insight. We did see the little snippet and preview of the TV show that hopefully still gets off the ground and going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We were very, very lucky. We got to see some footage that I have not seen around anymore at all. And that was very cool. So Jeff gave us that little insight. The guys showed us covers and art that hadn't been revealed yet. It was just great. They were amazing.
That is awesome. And that was right there in your store. Then you had the Zoom party. Your customers were able to come in and do that.
Yes. So, we actually rented an event center that is in our complex. So we just, they'd all just came into the It was just easier because it could hold like 200 people. So we had about 75 people that came and went through the entire time. So that was pretty fun.
That's really cool.
That's really awesome. I know, and no shade to our stores around here, but I have not heard about anything like that. Like, if, you know, the opportunity to get to see some of your favorite creators, like, and ask questions, even though not in person. Zoom's basically in person, right?
Right. It basically was. It was, sometimes you don't even get that close to them when you're in like a Hall H setting or anything like that. So, it was pretty great. It was, and like I said, they answered every question for these kids. We had some questions already geared up so that way that they could be prepped for them. But the kids, we had kids asking questions, because that's the wonderful thing about the Ghost Machine product is it's pretty accessible for kids too. We had kids asking questions. We had adults asking questions. We had females, males. So it was just a very good, broad range of people asking questions. So I think they saw that too. And that was fun that we have it wasn't just all guys asking about Green Lantern or Batman. Although someone did ask a question about, okay, which of these, you got Geiger, you got Terry, you got Simon, which rings would these characters have? And I thought that was kind of a fun question for Jeff, but that, we gave out, everybody that came got a poster with our exclusive covers that connect. They got a poster.
Exclusive through your store?
So one of the things we knew when we saw Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, when Mad Ghost Geiger and Junkyard Joe were out, we knew we were going to be throwing our weight behind it and supporting it. Two of our favorites. And then, jump forward, Ghost Machine is announced. We're like, okay, now we have to do exclusives. We've done Marvel, we've done DC exclusives. Now it's time to enter into the world. We're doing some Ghost Machine exclusives. So we actually contacted Rodolfo Migliari, who has done some exclusives for us before. And we're like, this would be perfect. He knows Jeff. I think this would be a perfect fit. And it worked out great. He did exclusive covers for the 3 books for us, and they connected. So it was awesome for issue 1 of each of them, for all of those, for those people that came to the Zoom party. But since then, we've also done exclusives. We've done an exclusive for Hyde Street #1, and Rockefeller's #1, and Hornsby and Halo #1.
And who are those by?
All 3 of those are by Gavin Smith. And Gavin is an artist from Indianapolis. He's worked on a lot of books like TMNT and Godzilla. He's had a couple of his own creator-owned books as well. So we've known him as well. So we reached out to him. We thought he was a perfect fit for Hyde Street, actually. And it ended up being perfect for both Rockefellers and Hornsby and Halo as well. Speaking of those 2 books, another amazing creator, Peter Tomasi. We had the privilege of having him stop by our booth quite a bit at Fan Expo Chicago last year. As we all know, Ghost Machine was supposed to be there and was not able to attend. But Peter Tomasi was still there. He stopped by and made sure that things were going all right. He chatted us up quite a bit each of the days, and that was great. And Christian, of course, was with us. And Christian has been a huge fan of his from the beginning, that he could read Super Sons, jumping forward and the Green Lantern stuff. So it was great for him to talk to him, and they had great conversation as well. But Peter was great about stopping by and making sure things were going well and making sure the Ghost Machines books were doing well. We did make sure that people stopped by his booth as well at the same time. He hadn't gotten any of, none of the books were out for him yet, except for his stuff that was in the Ghost Machine one-shot. So we definitely made sure people stopped by and got that signed by him. But he was showing us, art and pages and covers that were already done and, ready to go at the show. And that was really awesome too. Another great creator. So, people that are not on board on those 2 books really need to jump on, because both of those books are amazing.
They are. We love talking about them. It's kind of like your store and your family is like a family odyssey in a way.
Kind of. Except we don't have anyone traveling, from 20, whatever, shooting us down or anything. But
you don't have an estranged sister coming back to the past to get you?
None. That we know of anyways.
Yeah.
You make a really good point about your store being a very family-oriented environment. Generations of people have literally come to it, brought their kids, which is amazing. And that really is something that Peter, when he was on the show, Peter Tomasi, he really tried to emphasize to us that he wanted everyone to understand that the Rockefellers and Hornsby and Halo are for everyone, but that doesn't mean they're G-rated. So they're not like for little kids. They're books for everyone that will move you if you want to read something about a family but a young person can read them. I mean, Reyna is starting to get like very Darth Vader. So like at a certain point, maybe. I think there's just something unique about that. But I mean, what at the same time, you're really in touch with the community, Kelly. So what would you say makes the Ghost Machine fans community different and unique?
They're here for the creators and the stories. They're not there. What's so different about it is they're consistent and they want their books. They're there each week. They're fun to talk to. They want to read the stories. They want to talk about it. I don't want to say that, people that are there for Marvel or DC are there just to collect the covers or whatever, because they're not. We have a huge readership, but there's those people as well. But I would say 99% of the people that are buying the Ghost Machine stuff have read them by the next time they're in. And that's what's unique about it. Everybody is reading their Ghost Machine comics, and they're coming back, and they're consistent about picking up their Ghost Machine comics. And I think that that's really important, and it's growing. The other thing that we're noticing is we've got a really strong, 16 to early 20s group coming to pick them up. Maybe it's not, maybe it's something that we're doing. I mean, we do push that type of stuff onto people. We do, somebody's like, I want something different to read. Well, right away, we're like, okay, let's try this. Geiger. We put it in their hands, and they're usually right away like, oh, I like this. So it's not, not only that, the creators did cut a commercial or like a little promo for us that we play on our video, on our screen, in our store all the time. People stop and watch that. And when they watch that, they want to know more. And a lot of times we're getting questions about that. So we're able to answer that. That's the other thing. We're able to answer that. We know the stories. We know, but it's hard to not tell them, well, what's this red coat about? Well, you can't really tell them too much. You don't want to give it away, things like that. Rook Exodus is easy to, give people the 6 issues and let them know there's more coming. They're not they don't feel like they're that far behind. The nice thing is we have different genres too. People are looking for horror. I can put Hyde Street in their hands right away. And they usually are back for everything that we have. So everything that's out. And that's the other thing. We try to keep everything on the store shelf. Single issues, graphic novels, always.
Do you find being there in Mishawaka and having Notre Dame nearby and IU, the South End, there's a couple of pretty big universities by you. Are you seeing younger college kids coming in and getting interested?
We do have a lot of college kids. I think we get more from Bethel than Notre Dame. And Notre Dame is weird. Notre Dame is very protective of their students. They have this wall around them. I tell people it's really weird. We don't see those Notre Dame students until their junior or senior year, it seems like. Not that we don't see a few Notre Dame students here and there. We get a lot of them as their parents are coming into town and stuff like that. We do have, actually, we have a couple families who come to pick up their students from either St. Mary's or Notre Dame or Bethel. And they travel from the East Coast, a lot of New Yorkers, and they stop in for their Ghost Machine fix, as a matter of fact, because they can't get it out there. Some of them live in Manhattan, and Midtown does not stock it as deep as you might think. I have 2 families that say they shop at Midtown, and they come into our store every couple months, and they stock up because they can't seem to get them.
That's interesting.
I don't know if it's just that they want certain covers, and maybe we have a certain cover that they want or whatever. Whatever the case is, we're glad to help them.
That makes me think of a question that I think is really good for all fans of any comic books to know the answer to. As far as I understand it, we live in the pre-order age where pre-ordering is the biggest, most important thing, more than it ever has been before. And so can you tell us, because you just said you get all the covers, that means you guys will probably always have the ratio variants and all that kind of good stuff. What is the best thing that a comic book fan / brick and mortar customer like me, I go back to the same comic book store every week. I really care about supporting them and small business in general. What are the kinds of things that I can do to best support an organization like yours.
Okay. So especially with the Ghost Machine stuff, it's funny. Things are out there BitTorrented. Don't read them BitTorrented. Buy the physical media from a comic book store. Not only is it supporting your local comic book store, but it's also supporting Ghost Machine. Those creators have not only given their time and money to create these beautiful, awesome stories that you're not going to get, from the, big two, but those local comic book stores also have put their money into supporting them as well. So that's the first thing. Buy it from the local store. Now, if you go to the same store, now, Nick, I'm assuming you have a pull list. Ask your local, do they have a pull list? Can you get on a pull list? Some stores have, you need 5 books to be on a pull list or 10 books to be on a pull list. Some don't have any to, warrant a pull list necessarily, but ask them. Because, hey, I want all covers of Ghost Machine titles every time they come out. Can I get the ratio variants? What's it going to take me to get the ratio variants? Are you going to order enough to get the ratio variants? We've obviously seen the serial cover ones going for insane monies. The best thing I can tell you is let your store know months ahead of time that you want certain things. We live in an age where our final orders are due 3 to 6 weeks out. So if you can let your store know a month out, hey, I know there's a big cover coming. I want it. I like this artist that's on this cover. Can I get this cover? And see what they say. I think pull list is the way to go for a lot of people, especially if you read the same books time and time again. A lot of stores will do A covers, no problem. Some stores have problems doing more than A covers. A lot of the covers from Ghost Machine, 90% of them are open to order, so it shouldn't be a problem. But, talk to your retailer, talk to your local comic store, make that connection. Say, hey, I want these books. Make sure I get them. How do I make sure I get them? Because that's the easiest way to do it.
And a lot of them, I would imagine that your regular customers can email you or do something on your website to add and subtract from these pull lists and request items and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we actually just changed to a new point of sale system that actually has the ability for our customers to order on an app version. It's worked out really well. A lot of our customers are now using it, and it's a really easy tool. Even our customers that weren't doing pull lists before now are, and that's a benefit to them. I know, some people like to take stuff off the shelf and look and see what's coming on each week, but there's nothing to say you can't. There's no reason why you can't just do a couple books on your pull list and then see what else is out on the shelf for each week.
Yeah, and once you really get into the collecting side of it too, and you want to make sure you get every issue and you don't have to go hunt for one, or just like you said, the Sean Von Gorman serial variants are a perfect example. It's only a 1/20 ratio variant, right? Like somebody hears that and they're like, I'll be able to find one of those. Well, not when it just so happens to be like issue 7 of Hyde Street or whatever on the side. And not enough people notice that first one, which is why it's super hard to find Dr. Jelly and Mr. Peanut Butter. But the other ones, they seem like they're getting probably more orders now because of all the heat off of that first one.
Oh yeah, I imagine it's going to be a little bit easier to find the consecutive issues of that. But yeah, that first one is super crazy.
Do you guys have any kind of online store as well? Like we have people in different parts of the country that listen to this. They may want to check out Buy Me Toys and Comics online.
So our online store, buymetoys.com, is mostly focused on our exclusives. However, as of late, we have been putting up some of the Ghost Machine single issues that we have in stock, so that people around the country, we've heard so much that people have been having a hard time finding things. So you will see some of those going up periodically throughout the next 6 to 8 weeks. Some more of them anyways. But yeah, buymetoys.com. All of our exclusives are up there. We definitely encourage people to look there, and if they have any questions, email us.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The site looks wonderful.
Oh, thanks. I don't do anything with the putting it up, but I tell them what to put up.
Right. I would like to say that the number two reason that I go back to the same comic book store for the last probably 7 or 8 years now with a pull list, and I buy like individual stuff that I'll pull. The number two reason after customer service is because they use Comic Hub. Because every week I can go on Comic Hub because the FOC comics pop up there, and I only buy comics. You can filter by whatever you want, but I filter just by comics. And I literally look at all the FOC comics, and then I just pre-order every week based on new ones come out Wednesday. They need to be in by Sunday, essentially. And that's how I get everything that I want. And I'm never like, oh man, why wasn't I on that website catching that series I wish I had got because it looked really cool from that writer I like or whatever. It's really neat. You can just keep track of it all. I go there. They have my comics in the bag, and they love it too. My store loves it.
Tons of things. I was able to hype both the trades for Rockefellers and Hornsby and Halo the last couple weeks with Comic Hub sending it out and everything. So that was a good tool, a marketing tool for me. Obviously this week you probably ordered Deadpool Batman or Batman #1.
I did times 2.
2 big books that were this week.
Yep, but I had no idea they were on FOC this week because I just looked at my app. That's the only reason I knew.
Yep, and that's the big thing. Yeah, the app is great. So, and that was a very big positive for us was moving to Comic Hub because of that app.
So thank you so much for letting us interrogate you about your store and your Ghost Machine experience. Would you like to deep dive into a Ghost Machine comic with us like we usually do?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ghost Machine fans, as you can imagine, Kelly's on the inside, so she has a chance to read the comics before they come out, as much as we're privileged to do. So the book that we're reading today is Sisterhood, a Hyde Street Story, #2, because it comes out today, Wednesday, August 6th. And so before we talk about it, before we spoil it, we need to give you the rundown. This is perfect, Becky. We've never had a retailer. So we need to give the rundown of the covers that are available to you. Should you need to pause the podcast and run out and get the comic to make sure you read it. And then we'll talk about the book itself. So Becky, can you tell us about?
I think it's best we go in order, right?
Sure.
So cover A is Layla Lee's and Alex Sinclair. And it's got, it almost gives me yin yang vibes where you've got Violet and Sophie. One is in the water and the other. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah. And in the first issue, they have that piece of jewelry, right? That yin yang piece of jewelry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, Layla's really good at drawing some creepy stuff, man.
I know.
Yeah.
These issues are great.
Yes, and the Deb Water side, like the hand reaching out is like. Ooh.
So across the board, A cover is always most ordered for almost any comic, Kelly?
Yeah, pretty much so. I would say that follows suit with almost everything, I would say.
Okay, because typically, that's either because it's the most popular, or sometimes it's because for the big two, that's $3.99 instead of the other stuff's $4.99 or $5.99 or more, depending on if it's cardstock or foil. But in this case, with Ghost Machine, everything is high quality cardstock, high quality paper, no outside advertising. It's all just going to be Ghost Machine related stuff. And a B cover, this is a B cover that's kind of like a contender. You know what I'm saying? Like Gary Frank and Brad Anderson, just like terrifyingly stunning image of Violet beneath the water while I guess presumably Sophie looks upon from above.
We definitely had a high pre-order for this one.
It's sweet.
Is that a good example of a high-profile creator put into a series raising the pre-order number for a B cover or a C cover?
Absolutely. This week you'll see it probably on your store shelf. J. Scott Campbell started this week. That is another example.
The C cover is by the artist that's the current artist on Geiger, right?
It is. I really thought that Geiger was amazing art. Although there was a spread in there that I wish Gary was drawing, but
Was it a Junkyard Joe laid out with the
uh-huh.
Oh man, I really liked Eamon's way of all the little details. But yeah, it's crazy because they're both super detailed artists that are super detailed in different ways.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly what I said. I said that this is great. But yeah, I would have loved to see Gary's take on this too.
It was probably my first time, like, Kelly, you may not know this as much, but I read comics, but I don't read like Nick has his whole, life. But that book, I said the same thing. I was like, this isn't Gary. Like, it's not bad, but I can tell and it's unnerving me.
There are those times that you see that. It is weird though. Geiger is the only one that has that villain artist.
I like that it gives it kind of a pulpy feel.
Oh yeah, it does.
And the colorist on Geiger with Eamon, right, in those is Robert Nugent, I believe, right?
It is, I believe, yes.
Okay. And because that's the same colorist on this C cover for Sisterhood 2 that Eamon did. And I guess before reading it, I thought this was one of the two of the friends, like Violet or Sophie. But I guess after reading it, it's probably her older sister, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's interesting. That like it's kind of a neat thing. Like you see that, and then you read the book, and then it makes sense. That's a good.
That does happen sometimes.
As a benefit of comic books,
right, and it's a benefit of reading the comic book too.
Yeah,
right, and not just No. I buy them all, and some of them might just go in the box, but I read at least one of them all. I just like to support.
I know.
I use the excuse to support my local comic book shop that I have to buy every single cover.
Right. Well, we have to buy every single cover on the Ghost Machine stuff, right?
Absolutely, that's exactly my point. Bring us up to speed, Snoggle. If you like, I really liked this book, but where did we leave off?
Well, we figured out how close they were, and then they're in college, and tragically, Violet drowns at a sorority hazing, and Sophie can't cope, and she ends up on Hyde Street. So, where we left off is she spoke to, Sisterhood, correct? And now she can see her best friend, who is dead, in her mirror. A little unsettling, I'd say.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I do too. I mean, we'll get into it, but I think, like, even if my friend died and I saw her in my mirror, I'd be like, this isn't good. It's just, I love the setup that they have for this. I think it's great.
Maytel is outdoing herself with this. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she has so much more room to tell the story because we're getting a lot out of each issue.
Yeah, the one shot Devour it was so hard to do all in one issue, and then doing this miniseries is a lot. We are getting more of the story. We're getting more development. We're getting more, and we'll see these characters again, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So you said you like the way it's set up, Becky. What we don't go back into the current time though, right? It gets started in the past.
Yeah. It, our first, 2 pages are Sophie and Violet, or as they call each other, Vi and Soph, and they're going to Violet's home house. And she crashes her sister's party. I do see a theme of drinking, which I don't know if y'all kind of saw as well. But, like, her sister tries to kick her out, and she pushes her sister through a window.
Yeah, that's pretty, the window and the glass is pretty intense, though. I mean, like, with the mirror and the window and the glass, that's pretty, it's like kind of I won't say foreshadowing, but it's like a mimicking of it.
And the second page is so cool where, like, in each shard of glass, it shows, like, the progression of reactions.
Seeing the older sister, we didn't see the older sister in the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
So learning that she has the older sister is interesting because the bond between the two girls is so strong. It's more like they are sisters, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And then her own sister is not close to her at all.
I do also like how, like, basically she pushes her sister through the window, and we turn to the third page, and the last thing that her sister said to her was, "You're dead to me," before she made her leave. And then you see, like, the creepiest Violet being like, "I feel so alive."
That was a great scene. I love that. Yeah.
The dungeon master in me, and like even just like the fascinated by it kind of with questions, is like, okay, so she's trapped behind reflective surfaces. So far as we know right now, it's the mirror. And like, I'm starting to have all these really cool questions, because at this point, that scene that you were talking about with the really great transition from "You're dead to me" to "I feel so alive" by the dead Violet in the underwater, and when she's got the dead carton, what do you call it? The way her eyes are like messed up because she's dead. So we know that. And then we see that she and Sophie in the real world, kind of like cover A, can communicate. So at this point, we don't know if that is really like some evil whatever, or if it's just what's happening to poor Sophie because she ended up on Hyde Street for a minute and interacted with Sisterhood, or if it really is that. But what it seems like is the magic somehow pulled Violet back from halfway, like to the whatever. Like she wasn't all the way gone, because she's like, I was in this place with endless darkness, but then you reached for me and I reached back. And it's like, okay, well, that sounds like Sisterhood had this power to make that happen. But now we have Sophie, who's going to have to deal with the fact that she's got this person in all reflective surfaces, which is very horror movie-esque.
Oh, very much so. And you mentioned the bracelet, which obviously was her token to Sisterhood.
Good point. So she does still have the one bracelet on.
Correct.
Yeah, and the other one was consumed by the magic or whatever, right?
Right. So, but if she's okay, so Violet's in the reflective surfaces. So going back to at the end of the book, when she is at the sorority house, how did she do what she did?
You know, Sophie's like, "How did this happen?" She says, "Our souls are joined together side by side in you." So where I go with that is totally possession.
Ah, interesting.
To be determined.
To be determined.
I mean, I don't know.
No, I do love it, though. I think that and the art's great. Lila's art's great on it. I couldn't put it down.
Like, we're talking about her being in the mirror. So when her sister shows up, Amber, and she looks sad, just like laying on the ground. We keep on seeing glimpses of Violet, but only Sophie can hear her.
Oh yeah, I can only believe that it's just Sophie that sees and hears her.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody else can at all, for sure. Yeah, and that's what makes me wonder how much of it is this really about. This is sadly, it is not Violet's story. It's Sophie's story, and Sophie is the victim of Hyde Street. So you got to keep that in mind in all things. But I'll tell you, I was saying to Becky about this earlier that I love everything that Brad Anderson does, and it's just interesting to see another colorist able to bring, a high caliber of work in what Alex Sinclair does in like he's still doing it in like a totally different way. It's like they're playing two different instruments or something, but they're both just like amazing, like celebrity deathmatch. Remember, guys, amazing. We need to have like a color off. I'm just saying. And the reason I say that is because when they get you back to the sorority, it's like he's got so many different pinks and pops, there's so much detail and everything. It's just like, there's just so much contrast from page to page. It blows my mind.
It's crazy. Both of them are so good. They are so good. I always said that Brad Anderson is, like the colors on Rook Exodus to Geiger to Red Color are so different. And it's so amazing that he can do that. But you're right. Alex Sinclair's colors on this are just outstanding. But yes, Sophie is the one on Hyde Street. And I think that's a weird and interesting tale that we're going to have to see how it finishes out.
Well, we just get a glimpse of the sorority to basically give the reader the sense that the sorority is in danger of whatever, because Violet's parents are coming after the university with a lawsuit type of deal. And then that big tonal shift, to your point about color contrast, because now it's this dark blue and light blue and snow and like cold, cool, death and scary, and it's and it's evil undead Violet talking to Sophie about how she wants her to like fake rush a sorority to be able to get info on them to be able to convict essentially Karma of murdering her.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Karma is going to have a long issue here, I think. I think she's going to get haunted.
To be honest, I hope so.
I agree.
And so I think that there is a pretty good spot where we know definitely, no matter where in the world Violet pops up in the reflective surface, only Sophie can see her, and that's when like she sees Violet's older sister sitting there on the ground, and then we see the camera look up from her perspective at Sophie, who's come home to the dorm or whatever, and in the background there's like a mirror hanging, and then there is undead Violet. Certainly I think it's just her that can see her, but that doesn't mean that she can't influence, because that's what I'm curious about at the end. But as they're interacting, just as Amber is like, she's like there to pick up her stuff or whatever, and undead Violet in the mirror is getting pretty upset about some things that her sister is saying, but then nothing, like it's not enough to like affect her sister in a physical way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's compared to what happens at the end of the issue. It's like, that's interesting. Or, yeah. So
right,
we'll get to
right.
the end. But
I'm just trying to figure, was it Sophie that actually pushed her, or was it Violet that? Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. So to cut to the chase, the Amber gets the stuff and leaves, and there's sadness, and then ultimately Sophie agrees to listen to the evil voice in the mirror, and she goes and acts like she's going to rush, and they're like, oh great, this will get us good publicity, because if her best friend sticks around, we obviously didn't try to kill her. Awesome. And then I mean, it's right. That's pretty much the gist.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
But there were a couple of girls who were like, no, you should get rid of her. And Karma makes the decision like, nope, she's going to be with us now. Ugh.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Sophie brought up in the issue, though, that, hey, you haven't chose your major yet. And that came back to bite her, basically. Since you're undecided, you get to go drink from all of them. For Violet.
Oh, yeah.
So that was interesting. That was brought up specifically. Once again, another little foreshadowing slash.
Of course. I think Karma's name being Karma is somewhat foreshadowing.
Definitely.
Blatantly in our face foreshadowing, which is, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I guess the girl who did tragically meet her end, her name is Penelope.
Penelope. They did name her, huh?
Mm-hmm. And they do all have on pink, so it's got to be Wednesday.
Yeah, of course. It has to be Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice that as well.
I do think she is kind of playing Sophie a little bit because she's asking like, oh, you guys were good friends. And she said inseparable. And she's like, I can't even imagine losing a Sigma sister. And essentially, Violet, although wasn't in yet, like that's the whole point. She was trying to be their sister.
Oh, yeah.
It's just very manipulative when she's like, I really liked Violet. She would have fit right in. I don't know about that.
Interesting. The girls that were rushing as well, none of them actually stood up and said anything either. So where are they?
Did you like the little snippet when she's like, I mean, a rock came right through the window?
Yes, such great writing. Such great writing. Well done.
Didn't see the girl that got stitches, though.
She had to get staples. That's how serious it was. My goodness.
That's what leads us to this concluding scene that we keep alluding to, wondering about the mechanics of, is she can see her in this window. So that's now we know it can be like translucent reflective surfaces. It's just pretty much anything with a slight reflection does that. So she's talking about, that she wants to go farther than they planned and destroy their lives and and all this. And then that's when you start to get this sense of like this rift between the two. That's like, wait, what? Like, that's not what I thought we were doing. And then we get this really, like she says, are you talking to yourself out here? Before she comes out, which is kind of a writer's way of implying maybe she is. Like we don't really know what happened to her on Hyde Street yet.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's why I think we're going to get some more questions before we get answers. They're always good about doing that. And we'll get more of it in Hyde Street, the actual book. Because we did get with that with like from Devour and stuff. We're still getting more of her story.
I'll say I knew the moment I saw Penelope sitting on this ledge, I was like, this is bad.
Man, girl, you better get off that ledge.
Trying to look all cutesy. Like, I don't know if that's safe. And then she said, I would even say we're the kindest sorority. And you can see Violet in her glasses looking very angry, which I think that's some great artwork. And this is where I think the panel with the blue spooky, over the blue haze over the black, whatever. I think that's when supernatural stuff happened.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. Yeah, we're going to have to definitely watch that. I want to see more of that happen next issue.
Well, and it seems like, so after it's like, oh my God. And you see Soph there, we need to get help. And she's like, what? So she doesn't understand what happened. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
And she was right there.
It's like she blacked out there for a second.
And what if you're possessed, you usually don't remember what you did.
Yeah, that's true. That goes for that horror movie aspect like you were talking about, Nick.
Yeah. And especially that very last image on the last page where she says, I don't know, she must have fallen. And it's such an implication. It's like, well, yeah, you're either controlling. Yeah, to me, it is kind of like, well, maybe all that happened was that Sisterhood was like, okay, you want your friend back? I'll give you split personality. And it's going to make you think you have your friend back. Like just something like evil, just so horrible and evil. And she'll find that out, and that's how she'll become the next evil thing. Or I don't know. But yeah, it's really cool. I really, really like this. This is a very like, give me the next one comic book for sure. You know, and that the way that the next Campus Carnage logo was drawn, Rob Lee. You know, it was really cool for horror as well. But
I'm excited.
The next one looks super scary too.
Oh yeah,
man! For a miniseries, this has me chomping at the bit. So
I think she's great writer. I can't wait to see what else happens after this, especially now.
Yeah, and it's made me go look at other stuff that Layla has done too, and read that, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you find a creator. This is a great thing to do at your local comic book shop. Is you find a creator at your local shop that then you can get recommendations for, or just look them up and go find the books, because obviously they're going to stock that stuff or the trades or whatever. And it's like a whole nother way to get your hobby going. Like that's one of the reasons I really love comic book collecting. And Ghost Machine really spoils you because they have so many A+ series, out, like 6 series that are technically ongoing, and then we've got all these, and we've got more coming. First Ghost, so much. Rook coming back.
I can't wait for First Ghost.
Oh man, me neither. It's such an interesting little preview we have.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you that Gene showed me some pages. Oh wait, I just did. He just showed me a couple. He just showed me a couple like layouts and stuff like that. He didn't have much penciled fully yet when I saw him, but he showed me some layouts and stuff like that. So I was pretty excited. He knew I was ready to see something. I came up to him. I just waited. He was helping somebody, and I just waited behind. And he said, "You want to see something, don't you?"
That's funny.
Well, Gene grew up in our area where our store is, so he's been in our store several times, and we did do a couple signings with him. So I'm hoping, depending on weather and stuff like that, after First Ghost #1 launches, maybe 2 or 3, we'll have him into the store for a signing. So
that would be awesome.
I was just trying to look and see. Yeah, so FOC is next Monday, I believe, or Sunday for people to get their orders in. So, and it looks like it's in stores September 3rd. So
September 3rd. So that's really only like a month from now.
Yeah, looks like it is going to be a true month of 4 weeks from now.
Hey, look at that. That's pretty neat.
I know. I'm excited. And yeah, the covers look great on that too.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, what is going on there? Like, there's a guy who looks like a prisoner, but he's got a bag over his head. But then there's also, like, I recognize Violet and some sorority people, but then there's like these creepy occultist-looking Red Riding Hood people on the left. I don't know. And in the back of this one, they also advertised that the trade for Hyde Street #1 is on order now.
Yeah, I think that one's got to be coming too pretty soon. That might be actually next week too for FOC, our final order. That's coming soon, I know. The orders due are like the last week of the month, and it comes out October 1st. In time for Halloween.
Oh, nice. Great Halloween gift for a friend.
Oh, yes. Definitely. All these are.
Remind us, Kelly, where we can find you guys and all the things if we want to just check out the fun content you sometimes make on social media, I've seen, or if we would like to perhaps peruse your store as a customer.
So we are in northern Indiana, near Notre Dame, University of Notre Dame, if anyone knows where that is, but Mishawaka, Indiana. We are about 2 hours east of Chicago, 2 hours east of Toledo, 3 hours from Detroit, 2.5 hours from Indianapolis. So we're kind of in the central of anything and everything. We are on Facebook and Instagram, Buy Me Toys and Comics, for both of them. We are pretty active on there. We post every Wednesday what's coming out for the week. We do try to highlight the Ghost Machine stuff as much as possible because we are a big supporter of everything Ghost Machine. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are, pretty active, so we can help you guys with anything, of course. If you're looking for anything, reach out to us. We can try to do our best to help you as well.
If you want to check out any of our other content, you can do that by going to www.ghostmachinefans.com, where you'll see many social media platforms, and especially make sure to check out the Ghost Machine Comic Fans Facebook group, which Kelly and I have been admins on for over a year and a half. It's amazing.
So fun.
And if you do want to also check out the Discord, we have an open invite on our Instagram, where we also post almost every day in one form or another. We'd love to collaborate with anybody out there as well.
Thanks for joining us tonight on the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast.